Oh. Right. Alright. Let me get set up fully here. Turn the music down. Nice. Alright, let me get this thing set up first. So, pick set, arm the lights, and turn the battery on. And I'm going to quickly connect up to ground power so I don't drain the batteries, and then... Hello, Kuro. Thank you for the bits. I don't know. It's supposed to play another sound alert for that? That's sick. That's new. Alright. Well... thank you. Let me get this plane configured because it's a new livery, so I have to change some of the stuff around. So I'm just gonna put the ground actions here, and we can go ahead actually, since we're just sitting here, we can have passenger entry be the jetway, and then once the other stairs get disconnected, we'll connect up the jetway. Let me get the plane set up the way I like it. So all that stuff is correct. All that stuff is fine. I just want the a couple of these things on that are not on right now. There we go. Nice. Cool. We'll put this one in, I guess. That's fine. Alright, so, let me see. Oh, that's because it is a pain to do it with my quest. So I haven't been... I haven't been doing them all in the quest, so I can definitely stream in this game in VR, or at least play this game in VR, but I haven't done that much. So okay, so we're taking this TWA liveried American from Phoenix down to Puerto Vallarta, I believe, or maybe nope, just kidding. It's Cabo San Lucas, which is on the very here. I'll show you. It's on the very tip of Mexico, so way down here. Yeah, it's a popular vacation destination. I just figured, why not? So we will let our passengers do their boarding. Let me get the virtual airline stuff pulled up, which I have right here. We will plan this route with SimBrief, retrieve the latest flight plan. How about I make it so you can see that? Bam, there you go. Now you can see my whole screen. So, it's covering everything. Not that far. There we go. Okay, so it's going to be our route. It's going to be a Storm 1 departure, Tucson transition, then Juliet 92. It's just a jet route with a bunch of points. Then we're going to fly to Davzu, then direct to Eneco transition for Eneco 1 Alpha arrival, I suppose. So already pre-filed. So let me get the plane set up here. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, OBS. What the heck was that? I didn't even know you could drag text like that onto the screen. Okay, so let me get this plane set up. We can start tracking it. So we will go to FS Action, so go to Fuel. And we are estimated 17,173. That allows for the extra fuel that we would need. So we're only burning 9,000 pounds. We have 2,500 to get to our alternate. 500 pounds for taxi. 1,300 for emergency, and then 3,500 pounds extra. So that all adds up to that number. All right, it's right here, all the fuels. And then let me get the gross weight, the payload and stuff set. So let's see. Where's my zero fuel weight? Oh, here it is. We are 123.8. There we go. So we got 8 economy. That's what it translates out to, so works for me. I think we can just get on the VATSIM network. So for that, oh yeah, that's right. Everybody gotta have your passports out. Okay, so for that, I'm using this program, which is called vPilot. So you'll just connect to that, and we'll change this call sign. I got a little pad of paper here, because I'm probably gonna have to write stuff down if there's controllers on. So we got American Airlines. What's our flight number? 2675? 2675. Okay. So 2675. And we are in the 738, which is what it should translate as. Please stop. Remove the large dog. Okay, we don't need a SoCal code because we're not doing long flight over the ocean. Okay, that little beeping sound is just our pre-filed flight plan is telling me that we are still correct. So Storm 1, 272. Oh, look at this. We've already got Phoenix approach we got to talk to. So I'm just going to go ahead and dial them in here. So we would, oops. We would just go ahead and put that in this radio. So what is it? It is going to be 128.65. 65. Switch that over. We have our squawk code right here. It's going to be 2632. That's how they see us. So we'll just put this in here. 26. Oh. 32. There we go. And this plane likes to crash and lag if I put it on TARA, so we're just going to put it on traffic alerts only. Alright, reading the rest of this departure. So we have our plane destination. Our route is still the same. Altitude 370 cleared. Storm 1, Tucson departure to Tucson transition. Climb maintain 18,000. Or sorry, 8,000. We'll expect 370 3 minutes after departure. Departure frequency and 128.65. So we'll go up here and we'll put 8,000 in so that I don't forget. We'll put 250 on this. There we go. We can go and flip these flight directors on. While we're doing that, actually, I need to align the aircraft first. So right now we're on ground power. I'm just going to flip those over so those are on. We're going to crash. Oh yeah, the plane. The plane crashes. Like it just won't respond to anything. So like any of these. Oh, actually, nothing will work right now. Those work, but the yoke and stuff won't work because there's no hydraulic pillar. Oh, what was my cruise altitude? 370. Okay, I'm all over the place right now, so. Oh, also, I got this new fancy thing called Navigraph. So now you guys can see the charts that I actually see, like on my iPad usually, but now I don't need to whip my iPad out for this, right? So we are going to, this is not the correct, flight. Right. Cancel. How do I... How do I get my flight? How do I pull that up? Sync current flight. Yeah. What? Where is my stuff?
Phoenix approach, requesting
Yeah, see, there we go.
for 2 minutes.
Okay, so actually Phoenix Tower just came on. I just saw him pop on the
2044,
pilot.
about to be my airspace. Albuquerque,
They're 120, 900.
Data is terminated. 60, can you prove? See ya.
All right, over to Unicom. Thanks for the service. See ya.
See? I don't know. Okay, how about we click unload? Oh, there we go. Okay. Import flight from SimBrief. Yeah, that's what we want. That's the one we want. Boom. There we go. Wow, guys, you're gonna fly like right over my house. I'm just kidding. All right, so we can just click on the airport, and we should be able to just. We should be able to just pull open the taxi chart. Is it this one? Yeah.
Phoenix traffic, tower is open on 120.90. If you're ground at Phoenix Tower, contact them on 120.90.
Okay, so we'll switch over to talking to ground. Also, I have it in dark mode because I don't like the light mode charts. They're just, my eyes. So, this is supposed to be tracking me, but for some reason it is not. Telemetry? Okay, well, we're over here, Terminal 4. And my guess is, because we have this runway, they're going to give us either this taxi route here. Can I draw on this chart? Is there a way to... I don't see a way to draw on it. Okay, well, you guys should see my mouse, right? Like, I actually can't see it. Yeah, you can see my mouse. So we'll either go this way, down Sierra, and then back taxi here, or they're gonna have us go over, what is this, Romeo? And down that way. So. Okay, so we're gonna switch over to 120.9er. So 120.9, it's gonna be Phoenix Tower. I actually need to get the weather as well, so the weather frequency for Phoenix is gonna be 127.575, so 75, there we go.
Ramp is uncontrolled pushback onto access taxiways, including C and DREQF clearance advised on initial contact. You have information, Delta.
Delta. Alright, so we need to tell them we have Delta.
Phoenix Sky Harbor.
Ignore the one in the background. The louder one is the one that's important.
230 at 9er.
230 at 9.
10. Few clouds at 10,000.
Yeah.
25,000 staggered. Temperature 36. Dew point -2. Altimeter 2973.
2973.
Simultaneous approach is in use. Expect visual approach runway 26. Visual approach runway 25 left. Departing runway 25 right.
25 right.
To air mission. Reflex hold short instruction. Ramp is uncontrolled push.
Shut the hell up. Alright, we got all our information that we need. Okay. Alright, Phoenix approached back on 128.65. Alright, just so we have that dialed in. Cool. Alright. We can go ahead and minimize Actually, I'm gonna leave vPilot up. I'm just gonna put it on top of my screen there. Okay, let me go ahead and align our IRS. So we can go back to menu, FMC, position data. We're gonna put KPHX as our reference airport. I don't know what gate we're at. We can go to next page, copy over the left GPS position, paste it in there. We'll go to route, paste in KPHX, and we are going to MMSD. Like
Phoenix Tower, American
Sierra
2001,
Delta.
stand number 3, request system, push to start.
Alright, and we
American
can...
2001 contact.
I think I forgot
Phoenix
to...
ground 132.55.
Copy, contacting Phoenix ground at 132.55. That message just come online. Thank you, sir. American 2001.
Okay, I forgot to import the route. I saved it. I forgot to import it. So if we try and do it now, it's not gonna work. So I have to manually type this route in. It's not a big deal, so... let's see, we're at 25 right. Departure. Oh, let me go up here and click these on. Alright. We are on the Storm 1 via Tucson. Legs. Alright, just making sure all this stuff is set. And then we are going to be... Why don't I look at this? Why don't I pull this fancy thing up instead of squinting at this other? It just lags a little, but it's fine. Oh my goodness. Look at all these. Yeah, I don't know if I want to plug all these in. I mean, where's... fine. I'll plug them in. Alright. Ay. Alright. So, legs. Alright, we got TUS right here. Next is gonna be V. Why? This is why you... See, this is why you import it before you get to this point. And then you don't have to redo it again. Okay, then we got Eluro. U-R-O. Okay. Then we got Dumbo. Wow. That's a little insulting. Then we got, what is this? Bopap. Sick. I just love the names that come up with these. Suvli. S-U-V-L-I. Okay. Then we got the, what is that? H-M-O. Oh, Hermosillo. Okay, so H-M-O. Then we got the No-Tot. Then we got Omsucks. These names. Alright, then we got Guaymas. G-Y-M. G-Y-M. Those are VORs. That's why they're... Oh, nice. We're gonna go to the gym. I could use that. Okay, then we got Alnub. A-L-N-U-B. That's a what? Okay, thanks. Alright, and then we got Davzu. Yep. Okay, then Dasvu. Okay. And then I think after that It's just the approach. Yeah. So we'll go back here. We'll go to arrivals. We're doing the Alpha. Yeah. Alpha approach. Okay, so I actually need to put that in. Jesus. Alright, Davzu, then we got, what is this? Eneco? E-N-E-K-O. Then we got... I don't know what runway they're expecting us to do, but we can always figure it out when we get there. We can just, like, vector in for some finals or something. In the meantime, I'm going to go back up here. Zoom in on our Phoenix, which is... the chart's gone. Oh, that's fine, actually. Oh, look at that. I can zoom all the way in. Where are we? Hold on, I'll look at the other map. Eee, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Okay, we're... like an Alpha 9. Is there another plane here? What is happening? I can't see. No. Oh, it must be the ground tug. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, we're at Alpha 9, I believe. Let me just see here. We got 1, 2, 3 gates, Alpha 9. So that's fine. Alright. So we can get our taxi information from that. That's perfect. Perfect. Alright, we will activate that route and execute. We'll go to initial data. We will pull in our 0 fuel weight. Put in our reserves as 0.7, because 45 minutes. And we'll put our cost index at 80. Our cruising altitude is 3,700 feet. And we can execute. We can go to N1 limit. We can go to takeoff. We'll do a flaps 5. Pull our V speeds down. Nice. Alright, and for the climb, I would prefer to do a max angle of climb. Just because it's faster, right? I'm just kidding, max rate. We'll do max rate. So you're flying a little faster, but it's the fastest climb over time. It defaults to the economic climb. I don't know why. So. Okay. I don't know where my taxi chart went. There we go. What did I say we were at? What gate? Oh, jeez. Oh no, we're not at Alpha 9. We're at like Alpha 25 or 23? Wait a second. Yeah, we're at this terminal. So we are like... yeah, we're 23. Right? Or are we 25? I don't know. I think we're 25. Alright, Alpha 25. When I do the ground call, I'll just be like... Phoenix ground, American 2675 at Alpha 25 ready for push. And they'll be like... American 2675, clear push to the left and Bison ready taxi. Anyway, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, let's close this. Let me write down what gate we're at so I don't have to look again. Alpha 25. I did not mean to hit escape. Sorry about that. Cool, alright, so... oh, let me get my altimeter. It's going to be 2973, so we'll just grab this little knob, set that correctly. Alright, we are at the ground. Nice. And I'm expecting 2.5 for departure, so we'll just dial that in. And 8,000 feet. We can turn our flight directors on. We can go ahead and arm our auto... just kidding. I don't want to arm the autothrottle right now. Okay, let's get our... What does my fuel look like here? So... No center fuel, we're all left and right tanks, so we'll just turn the aft one pump on. Oh, did I actually start the flight tracking? Oh, no, I did not. Alright, they are connecting. Connected. Nice. Just using this, right? That's the virtual airline. No, no, no. We are flying on VATSIM. Cool.
Good evening and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Please return your
Alright,
seat
let's
back
go
and
and
folding
flip
trays
the
to their
APU on real
upright
quick.
position. You can store your carry-on luggage
Turn
in
our
either
logo
the
light on.
overhead bins or under the seat in front of you.
Turn these
Also,
two
make
lights
sure to
on as
fasten
well.
your seatbelt. For those of you seated next to an emergency
Turn
exit,
these on,
please carefully
turn
read the
those on.
special instructions located near that exit. If you don't want to complete any of the functions described in the event of an emergency, please inform a crew
we'll go ahead
member
and
so
flip
you
our
may
yacht
be
dampener off,
reseated.
but not yet.
We now request that all electronic devices such as cell phones and laptops be either powered off or
And
set to
checking
airplane
that,
mode.
that works.
We'll
And we'll go
notify
ahead and
you
check
when it's
our
safe to
oxygen
continue
mask.
using these devices. Please remember, if this is a non-smoking
Nice.
flight, smoking aboard this aircraft,
And that
as well
is
as
working.
tampering with, disabling, or destroying lavatory
And we,
smoke
I
detectors
guess, can check the
is
other
prohibited
side.
by law. If you have any questions about our flight, please don't hesitate
Nice.
to ask a crew member. Thank
And
you for your
actually,
attention.
this plane's got some cool stuff back here, if I can get over there. So, in the event of a landing gear failure, we can just come down here and put the gear down by hand. It's pretty cool. Anyway, okay, let's, I guess, go ahead and call for a taxi? Alright, I'm gonna call for taxi. Let me make sure that this is set correctly. Fee fine and set to feed to TMAT. Yes, and I am getting mic volume. Nice. Okay. Alright. And I'll go ahead and make my call. Oh, actually, just kidding. Cannot make the call yet. Need to flip those on. Oops. Got our APU gens on. I was like, what am I doing? Turn the bleeds on. Turn the engine bleeds off. Now I should have hydraulic power. Let me just go outside and do a quick flight check. Left, right, full up, full down, full left, full right. Nice. Alright. Nice, nice. Alright, let's get our call done. Phoenix ground, American 2675 at Alpha 25, ready for push. I don't know if they heard me. Oh, nope, they did not. I just broadcast that on some random ass frequency. Phoenix ground is 132.55. There we go. Not 123. There we go. That's better. Phoenix ground, American 2675. Good evening. Ready for push at Alpha 25.
American 2675 Phoenix ground, hello, push and start your discretion.
I'm pushing start our discretion, American 2675. Nice. Alright. So we can go ahead and push. We'll push to the left. So we'll go up to our little pushback. And
Cockpit to ground.
that's not what I meant to do.
Ground, stand by.
Ground, please cancel pushback operation.
Haha, just kidding.
Roger, pushback canceled.
I want to pre-plan. There we go. So we are gonna push to.
American 2001 contact tower 120.9, have a good flight, see ya.
We'll just push to there. And we'll request our
Cockpit to
pushback.
ground.
This is ground.
Go
Stand
ahead
by.
and release
Contact
ground
tower
power.
120.9er, American 2001. And who else was calling?
American 2279 emergency taxi with vehicle.
American 2279 Phoenix ground, runway 25 right, taxi via Charlie, Sierra Echo. Information Echo is current.
I don't.
Super right via Charlie, Sierra Echo, American 2279.
There we go. I don't know why it wasn't let me do that. That was weird.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
Nice. So now what they're going to do is they're going to lift the nose up a little bit. Let's see. They lift the nose up a little bit just for the
We are
push.
cleared for start and push.
I'm
Okay,
going to wait
cleared for push
2
start.
seconds for this guy to
Please
get
release
out of my
parking
way.
brake.
I'll wait 2 seconds for this guy to get out of my way and start our pusher.
Please release parking brake.
Yep. Alright, parking brakes are released.
released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Alright,
Yeah, we'll start in
number
the
2.
sequence.
So, we'll go engine number
On
2
behalf of the
on.
captain and crew, welcome aboard
Turn
the
off
flight.
pack 2.
Please ensure that your seatbelt is fastened.
We will
and
wait
your
for
seat backs and trays are in
20
their full
on
upright
this
position.
N2 indication.
Lastly, please turn off all electronic devices.
Once we see it, we
Thank
will
you, and have a great
introduce the
flight.
fuel. So 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That should be good right about there.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Alright, so brakes pushed and set.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Alright, we'll turn RTO on. We have engine 1 on. We can go ahead and flip the
Ground.
back on.
You may disconnect.
Put the
Okay,
left
sir.
back off.
Clear to
Turn the
disconnect.
lead on
Pin
for
has
that
been
side.
removed. See you at the side.
And we'll
Have
do
a
the
good
same
flight.
thing here. Wait for 20 and
Holding
2.
position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Right there. We can flip engine number 2 on. And we can go over here and just click the 5 there. Set our flaps to 5. Clear that annunciator. I think it's the yaw dampener control. You can just turn the yaw dampener on. And we'll just check. We had electronic issue. Okay. I'll just turn the gens on. There we go. I had to wait for that engine to turn on before I can turn the other on. I don't know the landing altitude yet. I will figure it out when we get there. Or at least when we get closer. Alright, engine 2 is on. We can turn the generator on. Turn that on, turn that on. Turn the pack on. Give it a second. And we can turn the APU off. Turn taxi lights on. Nice, nice. Everything is looking good. But I'm just gonna, because of it's getting dark, I'm just gonna turn some of these lights up a little bit. Somewhere. I can turn that to Gen 1 and turn the floodlight up a little bit. There we go. I thought there was a top floodlight. Oh, it's right here. There we go. Boom. Nice. Okay. And we'll do our call. Phoenix Grand American 2675 ready for taxi with Echo.
American 2675 Phoenix ground, runway 25 right, taxi via Charlie, Sierra Echo.
258 via Charlie Sierra Echo, American 2675.
American 2279, contact tower
Charlie
120.9,
Sierra
flight will see you.
Echo to 25.
Nova Tower 120.9 on American 2279.
Right, so I need to pull up the taxi diagram. 1 second. So let's see, Charlie, Sierra. Okay, yeah. So they're gonna have us go out to Charlie, then make a left turn, and then a left turn onto Echo here, which is the one right before. Then we'll just hold short right here, Echo 18. So I'm just gonna put this down here, out of the way. Nice. Okay. And give it a little bit of power. And then our nose center line is just going to be this little blob. Should be center line. Yeah, a little bit left. Okay, so I'm just kidding, it's this one. So. Alright, we will just quickly look. Left is clear, right is clear.
We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight in case of any turbulence. You can find several emergency exits on this airplane. Please take a moment to locate the closest exit to you. In some cases, the nearest exit may be situated behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor level lighting will guide you toward any of these exits. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with a...
Make sure at American 1917 requesting push and start onto Charlie if possible. Stand Alpha 29. American 1917 Phoenix ground, push onto Charlie, approved, tail east. Push onto Charlie, approved, tail east, American 1917.
Firmly over your mouth and nose. Security allows you to stand behind your head and breathe normally. Even if the bag doesn't seem to be inflating, oxygen is actually flowing to the mask. If you're traveling with a child or someone who needs help, please secure your own mask first. After that, you can assist the other person. As well, please keep your mask on until myself or a crew member advises you to take it off. In the event of an emergency, please assume the braces position. Lean forward with your hands on top of your head and your elbows against your thighs. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor. A life vest is located in a pouch under your seat between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head and bring the straps around your waist.
Whatever.
Adjust the straps to the front.
Oh, actually, it may not be.
Inflate the vest by pulling firmly on the red cord.
Just kidding. There we go.
If you need to refill the vest, blow into the
forgot to load that.
Also, use the whistle and light to attract attention. Your seat bottom cushion can be used as
I don't know what's going on with the weird floating orb lights, but I'm just gonna ignore it.
And hug the cushion to your chest. The use of laptop computers and other portable electronic devices is permitted only when the seatbelt sign is off or when permitted by the crew.
There we go.
Mobile
Now
phones
it'll pop
must
us up.
always remain off. Please remember that this is a non-smoking flight.
There we go. I was wondering why we weren't showing up before.
By law.
Now I know.
Find any safety information I've covered this evening in a card located in the seat pocket in front of you. Please read it through before we take off. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask myself or other crew members. Enjoy the flight and have a great evening.
Alright. And left turn onto Echo. We'll go all the way down to Echo 13. Which you can't see, it's behind me. Oh, there you go, it's right next to my shoulder now, I guess. And I will close the navigraph once we get airborne. I just need it for the ground operations. Eventually we'll go to Canada, by the way. I just,
American 2675, contact tower 120.9er, yeah.
1209er, American 2675, thanks. Cool. Alright, 1209. So get that. I will call them in just a second. I'm just gonna get down here and hold short.
Southwest 4506, welcome to Phoenix, exit left on yellow.
Left one able 4506.
Southwest 4506, contact ground 132.55, have a great day.
Alright, over to ground on 3235, let's see ya.
Nice. We'll just hold short right there. Just gonna set the parking brake. We can flip the landing lights on. Turn the turn-offs on. Go over here, strobe lights on. Just do a quick check. That's good there. I'm gonna make the tail strobe as well. We can leave it on, actually. And we're holding short Echo 13. Alright. And Phoenix Tower American 2675 holding short Echo 13. 25 right. Ready for takeoff. Alright.
American 2675, Phoenix Tower, winds tree 00 at 14, runway 25 right, clear for takeoff.
And 25 right, clear for takeoff, American 2675, thanks. Cool. Alright, I don't really care about the winds in this plane. We're gonna go and flip our auto throttle on. We can flip our head down. Actually, nah, screw it. We can release parking brake. Do another check here. We're just gonna make this a turn and burn here, so not gonna idle the power that much. A little bit of braking. There we go. And just gonna center my vision. There we go. Don't know what that warning's about. I'm just gonna clear it for now. We'll go almost full power, and we will go full power.
Airspeed's alive.
Click the toga button.
80 knots.
And check.
Rotate.
And slowly pull back on the stick. Ooh, without tail striking. There we go. Hold that runway
Positive rate
in.
of climb.
Alright, tap the brakes. Gear up. Oh, hold runway heading. There we go. We will turn these on. Turn our text lights off, turn those off, turn these to strobe.
American 2675, contact departure 128.65, have a great flight.
Thanks, 12865, American 2675. Alright, 128.65, let's quickly dial that in here, so 65 is the other direction. 128. We are 2,200. And Phoenix approach American 2675 is 3,700, climbing 8,000.
American 2675, Phoenix departure, good evening. Better contact, climb and maintain, flight level 210.
Up to 210, American 2675. Alright, 210. Alright, we can pull flaps up as well. Set this to off. We can zoom our TCAS map out just a little bit. And we'll turn our terrain warning on as well. Why not? As you can see, lots of things to do with the initial part, but then after, it's pretty easy, just like sitting here waiting for stuff to happen, so. You better not go past 250 right now. What are you doing? Okay, it is. It's doing it right. Okay. Just
Southwest
making sure.
1739, 8 miles on Jago. At Jago. Clear the out 22 approach.
At Jago, clear the island 26 approach, Southwest 1779.
Nice, nice. Got our turn coming in. This plane's pretty loud. Not gonna lie. Alright, and I'm going to, on my phone, at least check the altitude for the airport we're going to. So it's gonna be MMSFS.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now acceptable to use electronic devices.
Field elevation is going to be
Altitude is reached.
374 feet.
Stopping by with food and beverages. For now, relax and have a great evening.
So we can just put. I can't put 374. I could put 350 or 400. 400's closer. So it's better to have it more pressurized than less, and you can just kind of like bleed it off when you get on the ground. Alright, we're above 10,000. I believe landing lights can come off. Oh, I need to turn crossfade on. There we go. I forgot to do that. Everything looks good here. I'm just gonna put this on auto. There we go. We got our heading bugged in right here. I have the, oh, I do. Nice. Yeah, right there. And we can rocket ship mode up to 210.
American 2675, Albuquerque Sun is closed. Frequency is terminated. Frequency change approved. See ya.
And frequency change approved. Thanks. See ya. American 2675. Alright, cool. So we will just go over to Unicon. That's going to be 122.8.
Southwest 1779.
We'll keep our squawk code in just in case somebody else comes in. And we will go up to our cruise altitude of 370. Go, and we will zoom out a little bit, see what our top of climb is going to be. Oh, right over Tucson. Nice. Okay. Nice, nice. Everything is looking good. Let's just have a look on the outside, shall we? Oh, yeah. Nice and deft. Nice. Okay, this flight should be about 2 hours. Give or take a little bit of time, but... Alright, once we cross 18,000, I will flip the lights off, and we can hit this standard. It'll standardize the altitude pressure. So there's 18,000 right there. We can hit that button. Boom, there we go. And we can turn these off. and turn the logo off. There we go, and turn our wing lights off as well. We can set the fasten seatbelt sign to auto. And we'll just turn the chime on for a second, just so that they know. There is our slightly blurry HUD. I'm not sure why that is the case. Just gonna ignore it and just assume that we're not getting hypoxia right now. That would be great. Cool. Everything is looking good. I'll set that heading. I don't see any traffic on our TCAS, so no reason to keep our flight below 210. And now we wait. This is what it's like, man. This is what it's like. Oh, we're turning. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking at my phone like I'm just over here scrolling. Alright. All you're doing is monitoring. If the event of a failure, obviously you need to be able to fly it, but all you're doing is monitoring the autopilot. So. Alright. Yeah. Okay, I'll go here. For streaming. Block these. Oh. Nice. I just, like, for the transatlantic flight, man, I'm gonna need something to do. I'm gonna need to come up with something. Other than sitting here in silence, looking at my phone, listening to smooth jazz. Let's see, where's my cars? There it is. Bam. There we go. Yeah, so an hour and a half, and we're not even at top of climb yet, so. There we go. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it tracks everything I do, so. And that is the virtual airline, so. Map. Ooh. Oh, here we go. There we go. Yeah. Wait. Why is it saying I'm offline? Why? This is me. Right here. What? I don't understand why. I don't know why it says this flight is offline right now. Like, see? Oh, it's not being backed up. I see, I see. Okay. This also has, like, built-in radio, but I need to have the copyright-free stuff, so... Yeah. Alright, hour and a half. Hope y'all look comfy. I could just even put the camera, like, this one. Let's see. Where should this? That's loud. That's loud. There we go. There we go. Yeah. There you go. Now we could just watch this the whole time. Just kidding. I hope I can actually get to 370. The last time I tried to get that high in this plane, it like stalled before it got there, so. I mean, service ceiling is 4.1 something. Alright, I'm gonna actually switch over and turn on the weather radar instead of the terrain. It's a little bit more important for me right now. And just zoom this map out a little bit. I still don't see anybody on TCAS, so. Oh, the fox has arrived. The only reason I turned this tail light off is, I guess it's not going to bother anyone in there. They're good. Yep. I just like to, you know, keep it dark so they can sleep. Alright, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Hopefully nothing happens. If it does, I'll deal with it when I get back. We got like 30,000 feet above the ground right now, so I'll be back in 2 seconds. Return with the mail. Holy smokes, there's a lot of mail. See, the plane is still doing well. I just put my headset back on. Alright. Election spam. Electric bill. Credit card spam. Not mine. Election spam. Election spam. Not mine. Let's see. Election spam. Not mine. More junk mail. That's mine. Oh, that looks like spam. Okay, that's not mine. That's actual real mail. Wow. Wow, 2 pieces of real mail. Wow, look at all this. Oh, gas bill. Oh, nice. More election spam. More election spam. Is this all they send me? Just election crap. Ay, ay, ay. Ooh. A pilot magazine. I wonder who that's for. Alright, let me move this mail. I'll be right back. Hey. That's a credit card. Sure, she's the reason it fell in the first place. Alright. Is it the same? Yeah, it's the same. No, it's different? That's the old one right there. What? Oh. I see. Alright, we'll just rebug our heading here. We're 1,000 feet below, that's what that tone means. I came back at the right time. Nice. Let me just zoom out and see how far our top of descent is away. Let's see. Pretty far, way over here, it looks like. Top descent's way over here. What the hell? Dang. Alright. Oh, we should be flying over my city right now. I'm deaf. Yes. I am somewhere in this area. Airport, military base, where I went to flight school. And where I'm going to continue going to flight school because I'm leaving the one I'm at now. So. Alright. Actually, Albuquerque Center is online right now. As you can see here. Let me just see if they want me to talk to them. Let's see. Yeah, see, they're here. They actually just pinged me, so yes. They just beeped me right here. I don't know why, because I'm leaving in like 2 seconds. But alright, let's talk to them real quick. 123.8. Alright, 1238. Or 132.8, I mean.
Level 380.
Albuquerque Center, American 2675, level 370. He just said standby audio issues. Nice. No worries. I'm just gonna turn this down so I can hear it better. I don't know why I'm calling him. I'm leaving and it's very soon. This is Mexico. We're under these 2 points right here. It's like, why? Why are you having me call you? I mean, yeah, once I fly past this line right here, it's like, what's the point? I'm just gonna be gone. Like, by the time he comes back, I'm gonna be over Mexico, so it doesn't matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time the flight attendants are making their way throughout the cabin with the drink cart. You may also
About
unfasten
time.
your seatbelt and walk around. Relax and enjoy the rest of the flight.
By the time, you better bring that drink cart around. Alright, let me plug in an approach here. Let's, I'll look at Navigraph. It's a little better. The game's gonna lag a little bit loading that. Sorry.
Radio check. 5. Southwest 4279, Ibtiki Center, TBA4. Hello, for the contact, object file 330 to send by the Coulter 4 round 18, transition the Albuquerque altimeter 3018.
Coulter 4, we would like to request the RMP RNAV 0 runway 21 Taco transition.
Alright, stand by. Just descend by the Coulter 4 and I'll get you momentarily.
Alright, Coulter 4, Southwest 42 over there.
Albuquerque Center, Southwest 2805, 176, descending via Coulter 4.
Like,
So 2805,
he's back,
Albuquerque
but
Center,
doesn't
hello, descend by the Coulter 4 arrival. Runway 2, actually, which runway would you like in there? In the Albuquerque altimeter 3018? Here we're playing the same thing, the RNAV Zulu 21 from Taco,
Alright,
2805.
now we're in Mexico.
6, the RNAV Zulu, runway 21, Southwest 2805.
Hello, Southwest 636, flight level 223, descending via the Coulter 4. Also looking for RNAV 21 from Taco.
So 636, Albuquerque Center, descend by the Coulter 4 arrival, runway 21, the Albuquerque altimeter 3018.
Like, does he want me to keep talking? I'm just gonna call him again, just... And Albuquerque Center, American 2675, level 370. I don't know.
Blaster calling ident.
I did. Oh. I mean, I don't know why.
The American 1917 is Albuquerque Center online. Affirm. Roger, the American 1917 with UF at level 370. American 1917 Albuquerque Center, hello, ready to contact, altitude level 370, welcome.
I don't know why this guy's having me talk to him right now. I am not even in U.S. airspace anymore. I'm like, bro, told me to call you here. You didn't respond until here. Like, it's not on me, man. Yeah,
2805 at Taco cleared the RNAV Zulu runway 21 approach. I report a 5-mile final.
we're expecting runway 16.
5-mile final at Taco cleared RNAV Zulu 21 from Taco. Southwest 2805. South 2805, maintain 210 knots until advised. 210 until advised, Southwest 2805. South 636, reduce speed to 190.
Alright, 190 on the speed to 636.
South 4279, reduce speed 190.
We'll do the rest we can. Southwest 4279.
Appreciate it.
I don't know why he wants me anymore. Like,
Albuquerque, good evening, Southwest 1595.
screw it, I'm going over to Unicom. There's no point in me talking to him. We're not even in your airspace. Fuck. Some people. Alright, so we're expecting runway 16. Let me see what these approach charts look like. So this one's gonna be Jefferson shirt. How do I read you? Oh, it's gonna be fly inbound. Then hold on. I don't know if I like that. But fly inbound, do the hold, then go back out, do a teardrop approach. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I not just fly direct inbound? Let's check at this one. Oh yeah, see DME arc? That looks way better to me. We'll do a DME arc from Marks? Oh yeah, actually we are. Isn't that what this is? Is that Marrak's? Marak. Alright, well, I could make it Marrocks. We could just remove that. Make it Marrocks. Yeah, we'll do this one. So that's gonna be the VOR Yankee approach. Let's just check the X-ray just to see what it looks like. I don't like that one either. That one comes from the complete other direction. Check the RNP. Or the RNAV as it is called. Oh, see, this one has Marak. Okay, we'll do this one. We'll do the RNP down. So RNP runway 16. Okay. I think they call it RNV here. This is, yeah, Marak, there it is. Okay, we'll go over to legs. Go over to... We got Maraks. 150 and below. Wait, sir. Dang. That is going to be a steep approach. Well, whatever. I mean, maybe it'll adjust for us. This one's above 200. Then we have 24 miles. Well, no, we got more than that. We got like, I don't know. It might be able to pull it off here. So between Marak to Marax, it's gonna be 24 miles on that leg, 31 miles on that leg. We might be okay. Yeah, we might be okay on that. I am going to set some altitude here though. 2900. I'll set 2900 in here. That's just gonna make it so that I don't have to keep chasing the like setting that on every descent leg. So Making my life easier. It'll hold 370 until we get to our top of descent point, then it'll start going down for us. So, yeah. Dang, this is a long 3 legs here, 100 miles per. These ones are all pretty short. And we're zooming. I mean, we're 260 over the ground. We got some crosswind, but that's okay. Also, I'm just going to do this. Shabbat. So by the time we get there, it should be sunset-ish. Let me see. FM. Nice, nice. Alright, does this thing have our top of descent calculated? Yes, it's way over here. What is that? How far is that? On my... Well, I have it zoomed to 640 miles. Zoomed out. I mean, the edge of this arc is 160, the middle of it's 80. So, it's pretty far. Pretty far. I'm hoping that the fuel calculator gave us enough fuel. I don't know about that. I don't know. I always get a little suspicious with the computer doing it. It's like, I don't know why I can't. Well, I can't calculate, but whatever. Okay, let me go to our finish reference. Sick. Okay, we'll do full flaps. And I need to pull up that chart again so I can see our minimums. Nice. Just plunk this guy on there. Bam. There we go. Nice. Alright. And we are doing the RNP. Pin that to the right. Oh, nice. I can just click the chart. It should pull it up. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Alright, so our minimums is going to be 920 feet or 539 feet above the ground. I'm just going to dial in 920 feet. Second land not authorized. I'm not sure what these V1.5. I guess visual range. It's visual range of the runway, I suppose. So if it was 1 mile or 1.5 or whatever the distances extend, I'm not sure. I don't really know how to read Jeppesen charts, which is what this is. I read ForeFlight charts. So, 920 feet. The nice thing is, though, that I can fly to other countries now, and I have all the charts for all the airports, so it's worth it. Alright, 920. Let's get that dial in here, so we have it on baro, not radio. And we will just turn this until it says 920. You can see on the left side, or the right side right here. That is what I'm dialing up. That seems awfully high for minimums, but sure, it's for a reason. and I'm going to... There we go, 920. I'm going to pull up our VATSIM radar. Just taking a peek. Yeah, see, I'm so far south, this guy does not need to talk to me. Under any reason. Yeah, so we're going down here. We can click on this airport. Ah, someone is coming over from Mexico as well. Looks like one of these, or possibly one of these. Oh, you got 2 planes coming in. We'll be arriving in 51 minutes. They'll be arriving in 1 hour and 14 and 1 hour 25. Nice. Mexico Approach is on here. I've never talked to Mexico Approach, so I'm actually really hoping that they don't come on. I don't know what this guy is doing. He's at 12,000 feet. Is he just gonna fly across the ocean with no... Alright, we'll just assume he has a life raft, okay? We'll just assume. Alright, so I want to go to San Cabo. I can't get a altimeter reading for that airport? What? What the heck is going on here? See, I can get it for this one. Oh, there we go. Okay. Info? Alright, we got our METARs now. Got our TAF. So current time Zulu is going to be 1:37. So this one is the meter. It's going to be posted yesterday. Altimeter 2983. To 17th at those hours. 1.6 statute miles visibility. Oh, right here. This is the one here. So like the wind, but it doesn't give me the METAR. Whatever, I'll just put 2983 in and we'll just hope that that's close enough, I guess. So we're just gonna pre-select this in. So 2983. When we get closer, I'll just hit B on the keyboard. If it changes it, it'll just set it to whatever the closest reporting altimeter is. I feel like we are so far away right now. I mean, we're not, like, we're arriving in an hour. Once we start the descent, I'll have more stuff to do, so. Also, I'm hoping that the other people flying are, speaking English. Not to be rude, but I have heard some Mexico VATSIM calls. And I do speak some Spanish, but I'm just like, no man, you gotta speak English. Like, I do not understand you when you talk that quickly. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. Oh. Let me. Do we have, oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. We are zooming, though. We're the fastest of these arriving aircraft. So we are going 466 over the ground, and these guys are doing 178, 169. Are they the same plane? Oh yeah, they must be friends or something flying together. That's cool. I say they're friends. One of them's at 21,000 feet and one of them's at 2,000 feet. Okay. Well, hopefully they take runway 16. We can hope. I don't see a CTAF frequency. So I'm just gonna assume it's 1228. Let me check the navigator check. That will tell us correctly. Well, maybe possibly 118.9er. We could use that as the CTAF, I suppose. I wonder if I can change this to the BFR map. I mean, the sectional. Nope, that's only covering the US. Aye. Great. I don't know what the frequency is. I can't read this. I don't know what that means. What the heck? Maybe it's on here. Oh, we got San Jose approach, but we're not doing that. Oh, final approach risk can be 11 or 166. I bet that down. I feel like it's gonna be a 118.9er. I'll do a call on both, just to be sure. So, approach course is gonna be 166. Just dial that in on both of these so that we can use auto land. Oh, look at that. I stopped right on it. Nice. All right. Oh, God. What was that frequency? I already forgot. It was 118.9? Possibly? Yes. 118.9. I'll do 118.9. Oh. I'll do a call on both. We will just see you. What's it look like outside? A little cloudy. Otherwise, nice. Otherwise, pretty nice. I will just keep an eye. I'll just keep checking these guys' flight path. Just to see what they're... This guy is all over the road. Where'd he go? Come back. I want to look at you. Why are you turning like that, man? Why are you doing turns? I guess to climb? But then what's going on here is this way, this way, this... Oh, this way, this way, oh, this way. What is going on? So he's descending. He's 16,000 now. It's descending. What? What are these guys doing? Like, they're not even... You feel like you would take off. Maybe do the DME departure and then just zoop straight line. Well, maybe not though. Like, maybe they'll fly like to here and then over. So that way they're like within gliding distance of the ground whenever they need to be. I don't know. We're still gonna beat them. Like, let's see. 41 minutes, 48 minutes, an hour and 7 minutes. I still feel like we're gonna beat them, which means I get to call the runway. Suckers! I mean, they really should be using 1.6. The wind is 170 at 4. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, the wind is 150 at 5. They really should be using 1.6. That's 10 degrees off. Right? If we pull up the crosswind calculator here. We got runway 16. Our wind direction is 150 at 5. Right? So we got 5 knots of crosswind and 1 knot. I'm sorry, 5 knots of headwind, 1 knot of crosswind. It does show the wind becoming calm, but I still feel like they're going to need to be using 1.6. I mean, what does it look like? I guess they could use 3.4, but then you got like noise abatement procedures. Like there's pretty much nobody on this side. You got mountains over here and flat nothing over here, so they could come in like this, but then you're flying over all these houses at night, because technically, right, it is night, but no, we're not. Oh, look at the gates. Ooh. Alright, we're gonna go to gate, I don't know, one of these. Let's see. Let's check the Google Maps. Sorry, just zooming out of my house. Alright, so we got boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we're gonna go to one of these gates. Probably one of these. Looks like the bigger gates. Yeah, that's a 7.3. That might be a 777. 7.3s are down here, but those are Southwest gates. That's an American plane. Oh, that's a small one, so we'll go to one of these. Ooh, VIP lounge. Ooh. Oh, look at that. We're gonna go there after. Let's see. Ooh, it's nice in there. I mean, this is a luxury town. I mean, if you zoom out a little bit, it's just like golf course, golf course, golf course, golf course, golf course, golf course. More golf courses. Super expensive giant houses, right? So clearly lots of money here. Alright, anyway. How we doing on approach times? Yeah, 38 minutes, 49 minutes. Yep, we're still beating them by 10 minutes, so. Nice. Somebody is departing? Oh, departed. They departed. Where are you? Oh, I see. They're going all the way over there. Jeez. Nice. Alright. I can't tell if those are scratches on the glass or icing, so I'm just gonna put those on real quick. It might be scratches. I don't know. I have like the scuffed texture model thing in, right? So the buttons show like some wear and tear. You can see the exec button gets pressed a ton. Execute. Some of these are like worn off. It just makes it look a little nicer, because otherwise it looks like a brand new freaking airplane every time, and nah, we're not doing that. So okay, let me see. Yeah. Nope. Okay, what's the MMSD? 16, 380 feet. No, landing, there we go. 16. Dry runway, we'll do full flaps. Packs are on, anti-ice is off, import the weather. Yeah, see 2932, wind is 1505, we will calculate. Our landing distance is going to be 9,836 feet, which shows the whole length of the runway. Is that right? Surely that's not right, right? What the heck? It has us eating the whole runway. There's no way. There's no way. We could stop this thing by Charlie, or maybe Bravo. But this thing's... This is so weird. Maybe that's like available landing length. See? It has landing distance, runway length. That can't be right. Calculate? What the heck? Alright, we'll do auto brakes 3. I think this is the one I need. Import. Calculate. Oh, there we go. Landing distance is going to be 5,719 feet. So we will have like 4,000 feet left. Okay. That looks a little better. And it's probably going to be less than that because I have the weight set for right now, right? See, it's changing. So. Alright, we will remember to auto brake 3. I'll just do it now. Doesn't matter. Nice. Got a little bit of a quartering tailwind right now. Just a little bit. It's pushing us a little. So we're 260 indicated. Our true airspeed 265, that's and then our ground speed is gonna be almost 500. That's pretty good. That's 500 knots. Let's see. ADS to MPH. So 478, 550 miles an hour. So yeah, we zooming. I see these guys. Let's see, what the heck are they doing over here? Alright. Like this guy. I like this. Alright, I try like that. I like that. What the heck? We still are at least 20 minutes shy of them. So 160. Yeah, 216. Yeah, they are not going to beat me. They're not beating me down there. There's no way. No way. Jose. Get it? Because we're going to... Never mind. We're going to Cabo San Lucas. There's no Jose in there. Are we flying over the ocean right now? Yeah. Nice. that is the Baja, California, and then you got regular Mexico over there. Not like unregular Mexico, I just mean like the mainland, and then Baja is a little separate. So, little finger that sticks in, a little peninsula. Little peninsula. Alright. I'm just gonna look around here. We got good brake pressure. I don't know how to get the engine like showing data here. It's some setting in like the aircraft configuration. Let me see. Options. No. Aircraft. Displays. Ground speed display. I don't know. Rising runway 50. No, I like that one better. Show landing flaps. Oh, yes. What's this? Don't know. What's this? Oh, yeah, we'll turn that on. VSD. I don't know what that means. Visual something? Who knows? Engine side-by-side display. Whoa, okay, is that the one I want? No. That's cool though. But I don't want that. Where's that? There we go. Put it back on that. There we go. That's it. Ah, that's the one I want. Yeah, and brake temps. Yes. There we go. And you FMC will go back here. Oh, we're almost to our descent, I think. Yeah. I just gotta get that leg and then we'll turn. Start our descent. Oops. There it is. Top of descent. I'm not sure what these arcs are. I don't know what distance they're indicating. I guess 80, 40. So 4, 8, 12. 120 miles to top of descent. Almost exactly. Also 030 Zulu. What is current Zulu time? Should show me somewhere on one of these screens. Yeah, there we go. That's the one I want. Wait. Yes. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I thought it should. Oh, is this the Zulu time? Here we go. Yeah, so less than a minute. Oh, well, we're 6 miles from it. Duh. Duh. Alright, I'm going to assume those are scratches because I turned the anti-ice on and it's not doing anything, so. Still have 9,500 pounds of fuel. Which should be plenty on fuel. I was a little worried for a second, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be just fine. I really should get the overlay plugin again for OBS that shows me all my stuff. You know, all the, like, it shows the ground speed, the altitude, how far I am. That set it up right. I can't set it up right now. Just kidding. I'll get that for the next time. I had it in, and then I was like, I'm not doing flight sim streams anymore. And then I was like, Why not? It's the thing I know best. Why did you switch to the other PNG tuber? What the heck? Why are we... No, this one, thank you. I don't know, that was weird. Very strange. Yeah, it also will, like, have a betting minigame and shit. And then it will say, like, oh, bet on the landing rate. Also, anything above negative 550 per minute means it doesn't count for the virtual airlines. So hopefully we're less than that. Should be pretty good. If I need to, I'll float it, you know. We'll just float halfway down the runway, but we should be pretty good. This thing does pretty good on that. You just turn off the auto throttle, like, usually I turn off auto throttle like once it's starting the approach, and then I just fly it by hand, or possibly later if I need to. I'm just keeping an eye. I have to keep the camera down, because if it message pops up, it'll pop up right here. Right there. Oh, this is the, I think this thing. I think it projects it on there. Yeah. Let me just take a look at the sun. I can look at the sun without going outside. We should be arriving about sunset. Maybe a little bit after, but it won't be too dark. I always fly in the evening. And I'm so tired of looking at dark airports. Alright, 80 miles or so from top of descent. I don't have a checklist for this airplane. I don't think there's a checklist. Oh, there is a checklist. Alright, descent checklist. Pressurization, we have our landing altitude in. Yes. I'll put it at 350, that's fine. Recall, not sure what that means, but auto brake, we have it as 3. Landing data, we have our VREFs and our minimums in. We do right here, yes. And approach briefing. I can go ahead and do an approach briefing, why not? I have time. So... Alright, so starting up here, we have Cabo San Lucas. The date is correct. It is effective August 8th, and it is within 56 days, I think, of that. Not worried about getting the ATIS. Don't need to talk to any of these. We have this frequency bugged in case we need it. Our final approach course, that's going to be an RNAV approach. Final approach course 116. Because it starts at 2000. Decision altitude at 920. Airport elevation and runway elevation is the same. We're coming from 16-ish, so we'll be fine. We'll definitely clear. This is going to be your minimum safe altitudes to that VOR. Missed approach course going to be climb. Missed approach crest. Missed approach track at 5002 Rebus, and then continue in the hold. Transition level going to be, that's fine. 18.5. RNAV 1. And we do have GNSS on this. We're going to be coming in from Merak, so we'll need to be 4,000 or above. Once we reach this SD 800, we'll be 2,900. I wonder if we could come in from it Exade. But it's fine. Then we're going to descend down on final approach course 166 at SD 800, then keeping that descent coming in. SD 800 we should be 2,000. Right, so I don't know why that's not on here, but whatever. And then we have our missed approach points, or our visual descent point right here. It's gonna be 920 feet. We're gonna see the runway, it's VFR, so we could time it. We'll need to descend 736 feet per minute, right? What's our VREF? Yeah, 137, so the closest is 140. So 736 feet per minute, and we'll be from SD 801 to the missed approach point. So from here to the end of the runway, basically. It's going to be 2 minutes, 9 seconds. I have a timer on my yoke, so we'll just start the timer when we get there. We got Pappies. I'm not sure. Oh, is this the missed approach? Direct to 162, then climb to 5,000? Oh, yes. Okay, 162, climb to 5,000, SD 802, then climb out 5,000, or continue to climb to Rebus. Then we'll do our hold here. Based on this approach angle, we're going to do a teardrop entry to the hold, so we'll fly past it, do our teardrop to enter, and then hold like this. I don't want to do a parallel, and then it's just, no. We need to do, and we can't enter direct to the hold either, because the hold's on right turns. And we would need to do a left turn and then a right turn to enter, so fly past it, do our teardrop. I think that's everything. We're not circling to land the other runway, so. And they just moved a speed restriction. Okay. Nice. We are doing good. Let me just check their flight path. Yeah, we arrive in 18, they arrive in 38 in 1 hour. Dang, man, they are just this guy all over the road. So yeah, we're getting there much sooner than them, so we might see them land, or at least this one. I don't know if we'll see this guy. 161, 212. If they are flying together, they are very separated from each other, so. Alright, we are almost at Dasfu. And we're about 20 miles. Right? Oh, no, we're about 40 miles, sorry, from our top of descent. Yeah, because this is 80, so 40, 80, 120, 160 on the rings. I still can't believe this. This thing's supposed to show me the, this thing is supposed to show me CTAF frequency. Just check the meter again. I don't think it's gonna change, so. I'm just gonna check, make sure I have live weather on. I do. Okay. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and make our turn. Change our heading over just for backup. We're gonna have some super cool tailwind here, 60 knot tailwind. Oh my god. Bam. Alright. Dang. That tail, look at that ground speed increasing. Holy smokes. That sunlight, though, is so bright coming in those windows. Alright, I'm just gonna zoom this in a little. Keep an eye on that. So if we need drag, based on our airspeed, we can use the speed brake here. So I can increase that a little bit. I can just set it wherever I want. Alright, so you can increase it as necessary. I just don't want to put it up right now because we don't need to. So. Alright, about 20 miles from TOD. TOD. Also, we just crossed 2 hours. Make sure you guys get some water, stretch, etc. I'm going to get up for a second. Be right back. To eat my food right now. I think I'm gonna wait. Had some sushi. Oh yeah. Yeah, that must just be scratches. I'm gonna turn those off. I guess it doesn't hurt. We can leave it on. I mean, it's negative 22C out. Like we can leave it on. About 10 miles TOD. Just gonna reduce the range again. We'll cross our next point in about 8 minutes. Right, 043 and 050 is our next point, so. Still a little bit of quartering tail on that wind, but not too bad. Not that it matters when you're flying cross country anyway, but... Alright, the time is looking good as far as sunset. I can see some sunsettingness over there. Alright, and top of descent. So now the autopilot's just going to pull the throttles back for us, the auto throttling. And I'll keep an eye down here for that drag required message if we need it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting our descent. Please return your seat backs and tray tables to their full upright position. Be sure that your luggage is properly stowed either in one of the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you. Please turn off any electronic devices until we have arrived safely at the gate. Thank you.
Just keep our heading bag updated. By that point, we need to be 2,000 or above. Dropping like a rock right now. 3,800 feet per minute. 39 now. 4,000, 4,100, 4,200, 4,500, 600. Why? Dang. Alright, yep, that drag required message just popped up, so we'll just put the... Yeah, see? Stop for a second. There's a little magenta dot that pops up here, and that'll move in or move down, I suppose. We've got our drag in, which is just going to be our speed brakes. Just helps separate that lift on the back of the wing, these right here. We'll just set those at the flight detent, which is like 50%, right? So it's just helping to slow us down while we increase our rate of descent. We're going too fast for me to drop flaps, so... And we are going a little slower than our projected speed, but I think we're way above our descent path, so... And once we cross 18,000, we will flip the landing lights on. I'll just put them on strobe whenever we get there. Okay. I still don't see the approach triangle or the approach indicator. I can hear it throttling up, but we're passing our point now. We're above 20,000. Flight level 200, if you want to be correct. Okay, we'll turn our heading bug. It should be something like that. Actually, we are right on it. I don't know why it's not showing here, but it's this little magenta triangle right here. Our VNAV path. We are slightly above it. That's fine. And we should be 314 and 15,000 by the next point. And getting ready to cross 18,000 here. We'll hit this standard button. It'll pull in our new altimeter. Whoa. There we go. And we can flip the landing lights to strobe. So they look like this. Still a little fast, but I think we'll be okay. This is our, it'll kind of, this green dot here, it kind of like levels the plane out so it can slow down to the appropriate speed. I think we definitely will be at 4,000 by the time we get to Merak. We just got to be below 14 or 15,000 by the next point, which definitely will be. I mean, we're almost across 15,000 there. A little bit of turn. We got that crosswind. Wind is decreasing though. You can see it's only 6 knots instead of 60. I'm hoping that. I'm hoping that our runway choice is correct, because the meter, I don't think it has updated. Let me see. Also, here's 7 minutes, they're 25 out, so we're still good. Just checking the meter again. Still hasn't updated one. Let me just refresh the page. So you can hear in the background the plane is throttling itself back. Yeah, we're still the same. 1900 at 3 now, so definitely the correct runway. Yeah, see, we have no wind right now, but it will probably change as we come around. We got these mountains will change the direction of the wind. Alright, so we are slowing down. Speed brakes are helping us. Alright, there we go. We got a little bit of wind. Again, that's just like an estimation. I just always make sure the heading bug is centered in this little triangle. That way, if something were to fail with the LNAV, or lateral navigation, I can just hit this heading selector. It'll hold my heading. So. Alright, we need to be 233 and above 4,000. I'm going to go ahead and speed intervene. And we'll put it at 233. Well, we're still pretty far out. I'll just set it at 250. Actually, it needs to be 250 because we need to be 250 below 10,500 out here, which we just shot through. Never mind. So I guess above 10,000. I think I forgot to plug that in that. It's fine. Okay. So it'll kind of level us out here. You can see that vertical descent rate slowed up. Or not. It can just blow right through it. That's cool too. I can increase flaps to 5 and put the gear down below 250, but I'll just put like 2 degrees of flaps in. It'll just kind of help us descend faster without yeah, we're on our VNAV path, so it's fine. There's nobody else here yet, so I'm just gonna recalculate this. 5,700. How about if we do auto brakes 2? I don't feel like cooking them right now. So that'll use 7,000 feet. Oh, I see. We're gonna go this way on the runway. That's to come to a full stop, I think. I mean, we can outer brakes too. But I don't see any reason why not. The plane's not going anywhere after this, so at least not for a couple days. Okay, so we are at our speed. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that air brake out. Just keep an eye on it. If it starts to increase too much, or we start losing that descent rate too quickly, yeah, see, I'm gonna put a little bit in. So you just want to put it up past where it's armed. So armed is just this, and then when we land, it'll full. But I'm just gonna set it a little bit, just a tiny bit out, right? Also, we are below 10,000. We can flip the landing lights to steady, turn all the other lights on. Turn the lights on too. Cool. Alright, once I get to Merak, I'll make a call. Just in case. Alright, I mean, I'm not looking at the thing right now. I got too much other stuff going on, so. Also, once we get to Merak, I will hit the approach button. And it should, once we intercept that approach, I can set this too. You'll see a little magenta bar move in. I guess I can do it once you get closer to whatever point that is, the SD 800. Sierra Delta, sorry. For being correct. Alright, do I see the airport? No, I think it's over here. I do not see it. It's fine. We're fine. Oh, actually, you can see my... sorry. You can see my VNAV path on the hub there. Right here, this thing. Alright, we need to be 233. Let me go ahead and slow up here. And we can increase the air brake to help with that. You'll see that trend line come in. Just that little downward arrow right here. Alright. Alright, I'm hoping it holds us at 4,000. It should hold us 4,000 or so. Oh, those altitudes will guarantee obstacle clearance, so all these mountains and stuff. I do see the airport now. And we passed Merak. Yes, so we need to be, what? 200. Oops. Yeah, 200. And I'll make a call. Cabo traffic Americans 2675 is going to be inbound RNP 16. Cabo. Alright, I'm going to drop a couple flaps here to help us. Zoom this in a little bit. Change it over to approach mode and see if it pulls it in. It's not an ILS, so it might not. It is not. Okay, that's fine. We'll just leave it on map. Alright, and I'll change this to approach. And we can put another notch of flaps because it's trying to fight me. And turn the auto throttle off and just do it by hand. Alright, we need to be 142, so I definitely need to slow down. And once we cross this point, I'll just do 5 mile final call. I know the HUD is easier to see, but it blocks my view, so we're just gonna use these. So these are our approach, I guess guidance. Idle the throttles for now. Take that speed brake out, we can set it to armed. I can put another notch, actually we can go and drop the gear. Wait for the 3 greens, so we have reds right now. Nose green, and 3 greens, no red. Alright, we can put another notch flaps. Keep our airspeed coming down. Idle those throttles to help. Put another notch of flaps in. Cabo traffic, American 2675, 4 mile final, 16 full stop Cabo. Alright. You're doing good. Put another notch of flaps in.
1,000.
Yep. I can put full flaps. Center that heading bug. Alright, feet on the rudders. Getting a little slow. There we go. Our approach speed's gonna be what, 137? Let me just verify that. It's actually gonna be
100.
Yep, 100 above minimums. Continue.
Minimums.
Continue. Let's see if this thing can auto land me. Alright. Disconnect autopilot, or too high.
Sink rate. Terrain, terrain. Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate. 30. 20.
Hold it off.
10.
Hold it off. Alright. Let the nose down. First thrust and tap the brakes. Alright. Below 80, reverse thrust can come out. Speed brakes can come off. And we'll get off at next available taxi bay. I have no idea what our descent rate is. I'll check it as soon as I can clear the runway. And we can pull the flaps up. And then just mash the button 100 times. I felt like it was pretty smooth, but we'll see. We were pretty high, but I think I corrected okay. Alright, wait a couple seconds. Brakes, 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 brakes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep
Set
your
our parking
seatbelt
brake for a
fastened
second.
until the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Turn these off.
Ensure you've gathered any personal belongings. Be careful when opening overhead
Set this
bins,
to
as
steady.
luggage may have shifted around during the flight.
We can go and power up
If
the
you need any
APU.
assistance exiting the plane, please remain seated until all passengers have deplane. We would be happy
And
to
we'll
assist
check
you.
our taxi
On
bay.
behalf of the crew, I thank you for choosing us, and we look forward to seeing you on future flights. Have a great evening.
Nice. I think we're on Charlie right now. Nope, we're on Bravo. Okay. So Bravo Alpha to the Terminal 1, or Terminal 2, okay. Oh my goodness, it's a Diamond Paw right after I landed. Welcome, Diamond, how are you? Let me give you a shout out. Alright, what clip did we get?
What? I am adorable.
What? Where's the clip? Alright, we're gonna go here for a second. Yes, indeed. You're also very humble, it seems. Hello, welcome. Made a funny, but airplane. Alright, hold on one second, I just gotta do a call. At Cabo Traffic American 2675, cleared of 16 at Bravo, taxiing Bravo Alpha to the, I'm sorry, Bravo Alpha Kilo to the terminal. Alright, let's see if I can remember that taxi route. Funny enough, nice, yeah. I mean, I messed up the radio call, that counts, right? Alright. Well, we are here now. We made it. Let me check my landing rate. Okay, a little high, but not failing. So, 346, a little higher than I'm used to, but still not like a failing. Failing amount. Okay, I'll just add some power here. I get over to the gate. And we'll just look left to make sure we're holding that taxi center line. Add a little bit of right engine. Yes, very. Nice. Alright, cool. And then we'll just hold this little like screw or whatever this is. That's our nose wheel, so we'll just hold that on the line like that. I can remember the taxi. It's pretty good. Flew down from Phoenix. Just getting some hours in the old virtual airline. Nice. Yep. Let's see, I think I can put us in one of these. Yeah, there you go. Can't see shit out of this thing. It's because it's night, the sun just set when we were landing, so. Yeah, that's him, yep. There are 2 planes coming in. Here, let me show you. There are 2 planes coming in. If we wait here long enough, we'll see them. Look at this guy's flight path. Hold on, where is it? Not that one. Look, look at that. What the heck is going on with this guy? Anyway, oops, wrong button. There we go. Oops, a little bit left. Yeah, no worries. We'll still be here. I might do a flight out of my VA. We can just get in a jet or something, fly around with the jet. Yeah, I know. I don't know what they're doing. I hope they do calls. Also, I totally forgot to do the calls on Unicom and CTAF because, well, I don't know if this airport has CTAF, so. This is the terminal I want. I'm just gonna turn at the next one. Okay. We'll turn at this one here, and we'll just go up to the gate. And with the powers of magic, there we go. Now I can actually see where I'm going.
Attention, we are being followed.
Thank you for the
Shall I
follow.
dispatch the welcoming drones?
Nice. What is it now? Alright, we will go over to this gate. Well, I might as well. I'll just pull up to this gate right here. Alright, I can't actually see. We're zooming a little. I'll just turn the taxi light off for a second. There we go. I'm gonna go until I think it's good. I'm ignoring this ground tug because flight sim garbage. What's going on with the jetways? That doesn't look like... Are they just gonna float? That's kind of good right there. I'm just gonna... Let's hit the parking brake. We can turn RT auto brake off. Let's see. Alright, and shutdown procedure is gonna be APU bleed on, engine bleeds off. I think just shut down the engines from here? Hold on, I have a checklist. How would I use it? Shut down. Parking brake set. APU is on. APU bus switches. We'll go ahead and flip those on. Alright. Engines, ground power switch is on. Oh, we don't have ground power yet because I have to do that. Alright, and actually now that I have done that, give me 1 second. I have to get my route. Give it to the virtual airline, and you'll paste the route in here. And file. Do I hit enter? Oh yes, okay. And file pirate. Yay! As soon as it is done. Nice. Pirate has been filed. There's our flights. Nice, nice. There's our stuff. Look at that. A little harder than I'm used to, but that's okay. We were super high on approach, so. Alright, how far away is this guy? 8 minutes. I suppose we can do ground things for 8 minutes while we wait. Alright, I don't need the rest of this. So we can turn heats off. It's been long enough now. We can set the chucks. Release the parking brakes, request ground power, request the jetway. What's the temp outside 28C? That's fine. We don't need the AC unit. We can request a... baggage loaders, yes. And carts, we'll request the loaders first. I don't know what frequency they're gonna call on, so I'm just gonna back it up. 118.9. Do you ever fly on VATSIM? You mentioned it, so I don't know if you do or not. We'll just set our receive. Alright. Not worried about that. Alright, ground power is available. We can switch to ground power. Turn our GPU off. Alright, and we can go to menu and FS actions. We can open the doors. Alright, I got our cargo doors. We can request these and we can set them to 0. Oh, okay. I see, I see. Nice. Should we request... I don't think we need to request anything else. Wait. I thought I turned the strobes off. I did. I guess it's the other planes. That's fine. Alright, we can turn this off. We can turn this off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn the packs off. We can turn hydraulic pressures off. And the fuel pumps off. Make sure all the lights are off. All the lights are off. We can turn our yaw dampener off. Set this to read ground power. I smell something burning in my house. I'm sure it's fine.
On initial approach fix with the Papa Charlie. Papa Delta Charlie.
Nice, what a call. Alright. He's on the initial approach fix. We're just sitting here with our ghost gates. Everything is fine. I'm just gonna, I wanna see this guy. Come on in. What you got? What you got, bud? Did you actually figure out how to use the the autopilot? What is doing those steep turns? He did some down here too. Yeah, it did too. I don't know what's going on with this. Like, I guess flying by hand? That's great and all, but you need to hold lines. Left, right, very left, very right. Yeah, I know, right? It looks like he figured it out eventually, and I don't know if they're flying together, but they did not stay together at all. I've been watching them. Alright. We're gonna go judge their landing while we're being deboarded. Let me hit start, and we will go back to passengers and set that at 0 and hit start. Alright, we're being deboarded. Let me get the camera. What, the drone camera? Now I have to figure out how it works. How do I Q, E, W, S, I, X, Shift, Control, Alt, hold that? No. Alright, well. How do you frickin' use this camera drone? U, E, I, arrow keys. Oh god. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's numpad. Wait, oh god. Everything is fine. I'm gonna judge your landing, guys. Ooh, actually got a little bit of crosswind. Hope they don't mind. Oh no, we got the headwind. Just barely. I mean, there's like no wind right now. So. Alright, and I think... How do I zoom in? Is there a way to zoom in? Oh yeah, there we go. Alright. So, we're just gonna sit here. Let me just look back at my plane and make sure you can see it at the gate. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Nice. Alright, now we just wait, I suppose. I'll wait for them to get on the approach, which looks like, that I just had it. That. This is the approach right here, so... Well, they'll just have to come in from way over there. This guy is still coming in. I'm not gonna wait for him, but... We'll wait for this guy since he's almost done. Oh, he's flying by hand again. He's doing it by hand again. If I set it to nighttime, can I see his lights? Let's see. Oh, yeah, there he is. Got him. Locked on target. Zoop. Nice. I got some sushi to eat in a bit. Wait, shit. We were locked on target. Oh, there he is. Boom. Why does the lights not work when I'm zoomed in? Whatever. Alright. We're just waiting for this guy to come in so I can judge his landing, judge his touchdown. We're sitting over there at the gate. Where is it? There it is. Look at that. Oh, actually, hold on one second. Let me turn these lights on as well. Just for the why not? Alright, we'll go back to the drone. Yeah, look at that. See, now we're much more visible. Kind of. I don't know what's with the lights in this game. When I zoom in, they get less visible. Is that how lights work in real life? I don't think so. Alright. And I will make it daytime when he comes in. Come on, dude. Just straight in. Straight in it. Come on, just face to final turn. Come on, like this, like this. Like this. Come on, I want to fly another plane. I don't want to spend all night waiting for you. Where did he go? Oh, okay, he's back. Never mind. Oh, nope, it's another person. Yep, so it is, let's see, who is it? Uriel Escobar. And then there's another guy, Enrique Vargas. And then you have me. Yep. Yeah, it's super cool. This is VATSIM, so it's all the... So these are like real people doing ATC. Alright, so you got your Phoenix Approach, you got your tower, somebody's on tower. You got Albuquerque Center. And then all these little blue things are all the other people actually flying right now. Somebody's flying a freaking B-2. What the hell? Oh my god, 47,000 feet. Jeez. Nice, nice. Alright, come on, dude. We're all watching. No pressure. Now is the time. You want to start that final turn. Oh, actually, he's not quite there. He's almost there. Is he turning already? He's turning already. Alright. Get this guy's phone number. He violated the laws. He broke the laws. Alright. He looks really low, too. He looks pretty low. I would go over there, but I'm really slow with this drone camera. So... I never see people on VATSIM, so I'm like, ooh, there's actually somebody here. Like, why would I not wait? Also, once he gets closer, I will make it daytime. We're just looking right here. All right. Looks like he's turned final, or just... Oh no, not quite. There we go. It's just harder to see their lights during the day. It's the same in real life too. Come on, Ariel. Uri. I don't want to butcher this guy's name. How do you pronounce this? Oh my god, no. Oh, why? Thank you, Google. Really appreciate that search result.
In English, it is normally pronounced as Uriel.
Uriel. Okay. All right, Uriel. TOS me. I typed in because I thought autocorrect was gonna do, so I put his name in and I put
on final approach 6.
That.
Papa Delta Charlie. Runway inside. Landing in runway 16.
I could call back. Just be like, you got this. Alright, well I guess I can't upload this file to YouTube then. Just kidding, it's fine. I didn't click on anything. I should be right next to touchdown markers. Yep. Alright, man. We're watching. Uriel. Uriel? Uriel? Yeah. Oh, no. Don't hit escape. Come on. Come on. Get your twin engine prop in here. Let's go. I want to fly faster jets. We're all excited. We're all waiting for you. Oh, these lights in front of me are called the Pappies, by the way. Here, we got some time. I'll just show you what they look like. Shoop. So, 4 whites means you're too high on approach. If I go back... See? That? This means you're too low. You're gonna hit the ground before you land. This is what you want to see. 2 whites, 2 reds.
On final row, 3 nautical miles. Delta Papa Charlie.
You got these calls, man. You got it. Student pilot calls. Let's go. Yeah, it's just a little visual indicator for you. Where the heck is he? Okay. Alright, I see him. Barely. See him right here. Right there. Oh, dropping like a rock. Oh, alright, he fixed it. Yeah, I know. If I zoom out, the lights are more visible, but... Alright, see if I can track him. There he is, there he is. Alright, alright, come on, you got this. You got this, yeah. Please tell me your gear's down. Please tell me your gear's down. Okay, yeah, I see the gears sticking down there. There we go. Come on, come on. You got this. Come on, don't land short. You don't want to land on these ones. You want to land on the ones I'm next to. Come on. Nice. Looking a little flat, but it's okay. There we go, there we go. Come on. Come on. You got this. Come on, where are you landing actually? Are you on the runway? Bro, that's a taxiway. Bro. What the What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Where are you going? What? Oh. Alright, 180 it.
Runway is 16, bucket via Delta.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, you're clear 16. We're clear when you landed. Oh my god. Jeez. Alright, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Teddy bear transport. Where are you going, dude? We're going to the parking lot. He's like, man, screw this, I'm going home. Jeez.
Si te miras para el otro lado, viejo.
Let's see where his buddy's at.
Repite, por favor.
Oh, wait.
Por
Arriving in 5 minutes, but oh, they're approaching the other side. All right, you know what? We're going for it. We're going for it. We're going for it. We're gonna wait. I'm wondering if maybe they have like different scenery or something. What? Just land in the dirt. Yeah, great. Dang it. I know I said we weren't gonna wait, but I gotta see if his friend lands in the dirt. What is... What? Why? Thank you, VATSIM. Come on. Come on, man. You got this. How long do we gotta wait for you? Oh, dang. Is he doing a DME arc? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he's doing a DME arc. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna fly out like this kind of like continuous arc, and then fly in. You got this, man. You got this. That is a nice looking DME arc. So it keeps you in equidistant from the VOR, which is like right here on the field. A little sombrero looking thing. I mean, it fits, right? We're in Mexico. I'm just curious just to see, oh, you like my, let's see. Here we are. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Nice. Is there a benefit to doing the arc? Well, I mean, any instrument approach is going to give you a... It's like you fly it when you can't see, like when there's low clouds or something. Or like if you're flying a big commercial plane, you would fly the... So this one I've flown. It keeps you clear of obstacles as long as you follow it around. Yup. Hold on. What are you doing over here? I'm thinking maybe I have some... Maybe there's some, like, add-on scenery that looks better. Because, I don't think... Oh, wait, what? Yeah, you fly instrument approaches when you can't see the ground. Or if you just... I mean, it's just a different way of flying. The other way is called VFR. So that's just flying... by visual reference? Come on, dude. Why not? It's taking all day to get over here. Let me go down to the end of the runway while we're waiting. I'm assuming that the camera drone is not actually flying my, like, plane over here. I'm hoping not, at least on their end. Alright, this is the runway. That is the taxiway. Runway has white lights. The yellow lights you can only see on this side. That's just showing the like 1,000 feet remaining. You can see them down there too. Taxiway has blue lights. Alright, bud, you want to touch down on those big solid white marks. Oh, there's a VOR. Wow, look at it. This game. I'm hoping the new one that comes out very soon, by the way. I think November 19th. It's already pre-ordered. bet we're gonna be flying in it. It's supposed to look way better. So, I mean, let me see what the windsock's doing. The windsock's actually favoring this runway. Interesting, so the wind is shifted slightly, but it's like barely any wind. So even if he had tailwind... Wait, no. What am I saying? It is favoring the other end of the runway because the windsock is being blown this way. So he's landing in to the wind. Yeah, he's landing with a tailwind right now, which is not ideal. But it's okay. It's, you know, it's a flight sim. Whatever. If you want, we can look at this approach he's on. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, right? I'll just put it on right on one of the pappies. Yeah. Alright, let's see. So we're gonna do... He's on one of these approaches. I just have to look at them all. Not that one. Nope. Yeah, he's on this one right now. So he flew to one of these points. I think this one, and then he's doing the arc around. I don't know why. It's VFR. I did it because I'm in a giant freaking commercial jet. So you have to fly IFR. Especially, so above 18,000 feet. Alright, here he comes. There he comes. He's a little left. Oh no! No, I pushed the wrong button. Quick. Get down there. Alright, we still got time. He's... What the fuck? Where is he going right now? What the heck? There must be some add-on airport because... Like... What? Why is he over here? He's landing in the dirt too. There's gotta be an add-on. Like... Either that or they're just really bad. But then in that case, I'm parked in the middle of the damn runway for them. Come on. Yeah, there must be. I'm gonna look. What's this over? Yup. There is an add-on, but it is unavailable. Weird. I mean, they could also be in a different simulator, which would not be as accurate, right? Come on, dude. I had time to look up an add-on, and you're still not here. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. Come on. Come on. Come on. What? The heck? Is he not moving? What the heck is going on over here? What the... Alright, screw it. Alright, let me disconnect from VATSIM real quick. I'm gonna close some stuff down. I close this. we can close these and these. Yes, he's not moving. Oh, wait, what? Now he is. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Okay, maybe he's just lagging really bad. Or he's flying like right above stall speed, which is kind of dumb, but all right, let's see. Let's go over here. All right, we're just gonna do a little bit of fun with something. Yeah, look at this thing. Ooh, or I could fly the extra. Do I have a nice livery for that? No, I don't. Okay, screw it. We'll do the Ralph. Ralphie. We can do the display one. It's fine. That looks cool. All right. We won't do this on VATSIM because I don't want to get yelled at. So, I have this plugin called Airshow Assistant, which I showed off last time I streamed this game, but it's pretty cool.
Davis Mountain Tower AAL 625 Bravo Uniform,
Shut up.
Uniform 07 at runway 12 ready for departure, straight out departure.
Alright, full fuel. Set it to daytime. Alright. Yeah, right? Me all nice, peaceful, my touchdown. And then the other... Do I have Airshow Assistant? I do. Okay, sick. So we are going to give ourselves one wingman for now. So... Or I guess two. How do I spot that? There we go. Nice. Alright. So... rear smoke gun. Trail? Short? Ah, that's the one I want. Short. Alright. Who's burning? Huh? Who's burning? I don't know. She burned toast, I would guess. Alright. Hold the brakes. Full power. Turn the smoke on. We'll turn the lifetime of it up. Guess the parking brake was set. That's sick. Alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wah. Wah. I'm trying to do this with a yoke, not a joystick. Oh, this plane stalls really easily. Okay. Okay. So if we look outside, you're gonna go down, by the way.
AEL 625 Bravo Uniform 07, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Oh, that's a stall. That's a stall, so nose down. Nose down. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Oh god. I'm dead. Alright, this plane can't fly for shit. Hold on. Or is it? I can actually fly this one, so. We'll just put ourselves here. I don't know. It could be both. I'm not used to flying planes that fast. I'm just using an excuse. Alright, I'll just do a couple, like... Great, I don't care about that right now. I'll just do a couple little thingies just to show you what Airshow Assistant looks like. So we'll give ourselves... we can do 4. What? That's what I want. Okay, I'll turn the lifetime of that up. Alright, wingman, that's the one I want. So we will give ourselves 4. Cool. So now they should all be... Yeah, they're there. Alright. So, I need to change the controller real quick. Alright. Now. I'll just start the plane real quick. So, mixture full, prop full, crack the throttle. Crock the throttle. Turn battery and alternator on. We can turn the fuel pump on. And... start. Nice. Are we there yet? Yes, we are, rather. We are indeed. There. Wherever there is. We have arrived. Dang, this plane looks much different than I remember it. This has autopilot now? Ooh. Nice. Come on, Garmin. I don't need the freaking Garmin. Alright, let's just take the parking brake off, add a little power, kick it out to the right. Alright, yeah, come on, AIs. Alright, runway should be this way? Oh, look at them back there. Like little lemmings. Take off on the grass? Bet. We could take off on the grass. Oh god, oh god. AI, move. Thank you. Alright. Yep. Alright. This plane is fast AF. So, before we do, I'll go to smoke, and smoke on. And full power. Nose down a little bit. And we are in the green, we can get airborne. Pull the mixture back. Flip. I'm doing this with a yoke, so... Yeah, lemmings, look at them back there, hold on. Look at them all. Sure this is tanking my frames right now, but whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't go through me. Oh, Rhoda, wait, you don't want to fly inverted? Oh yeah, we can get pretty close to the ground doing that. Hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, there, here it comes, ground getting closer. If we get enough airspeed, we can do an inverted loop. Looks something like this. Alright, dive to get airspeed and pull. And pull. And pull. Don't stall. Don't stall. This plate is so touchy. Like, that's me barely pressing the rudder. I got it. I got it. We're good. We're good. We're good. Alright, how about like this is called the Chandelle. So it's a maximum performance turn. Done just above stall speed. There we go. Oh, look at that. We gained quite a bit of altitude. No descent loss. It's used like when you're stuck in canyons, which I don't know how often that happens to people, but oh yeah, right over all the C-130s. Look at that. This does actually exist, and I see it drive by it almost every day. Alright, the AI just ate shit. Oh, why? Thanks, AI. Thanks, guys. You really helped me out. Alright. I'm gonna call that good. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. Let's find someone to raid, shall we? I think Surrey is live. Yes, Surrey is live. What is this? Drop, let them know you want to drop in? I'm not doing that. Yeah, I know, the lemmings, they really helped me out. Alright, well in the meantime, y'all take it easy. I will probably be back tomorrow. We might do some guitar. I don't have school for a bit, so yeah. Thanks for the raid, Diamond. I appreciate it. Sorry you missed my nice buttery landing, but I'll try and find the point in the VOD and send it to you if you're interested. But in the meantime, yeah, y'all take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Or day if you're in Australia.